Samidun Vadina Sorry for the delay. Take a seat, please.
Say sadhu, please. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Most Venerable, Bambalapitiye, Gnanaloka Thero, the world famous Dhamma preacher, meditation master, retreat specialist, and our spiritual teacher. You might have heard about Bhante like many times in your life and seen you. I met Bhante like 5, 6, 7 years ago at Miss Manisha, Mr. Tirana Balasuri's house in Long Beach, along with Mr. Asanka Javagan Hotel from Australia. We had a session over there at the house, and also we organized another session at our temple, Shanti Vihara Buddhist Center, Pomona, by that time. So Bhante visited our temple, so I met Bhante over there. And after 5, 6, 7 years, I believe Bhante is back in the United States. Even though the Bhante was going through some health issues, Bhante still wanted to make it. So we are very thankful and grateful to you, Bhante, for being here and taking care of our people, human beings. So when it comes to Bhante's life, born in Sri Lanka, raised in South Africa, as a teenager, Bhante was so interested and curious about the universe and different religions and celestial beings. So Bhante was so much interested in astrophysics. I'm interested in astronomy. Bhante is delving into much more deeper studies about celestial beings. Because we believe and we know, when it comes to science too, this is not the only planet with living beings. We live in this Milky Way galaxy. In this Milky Way galaxy, there are more than 400 to 500 billion stars and uncountable planets with living beings. And they believe at least 555 million planets with living beings. So don't think this is the only planet with living beings. So there could be millions and millions of planets with habitat conditions. That's why Bhante was so interested in astrophysics back in those days when he was a teenager. Then Bhante wanted to go to Princeton University for his further studies. Somehow it got cancelled. Then Bhante went to Cyprus for his higher studies. And in the middle of his studies, he went back to Sri Lanka. He was still studying about the Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, and all the other religions, and about the universe. And then Bhante met one of the great German monks and followed his teaching and got his advice and guidance. And then Bhante became a novice in 1999. And in 2001, Bhante got his full ordination. And from there, Bhante started his journey as a Buddhist monk, a meditation master, and a retreat specialist, and a spiritual guide teacher. Then Bhante practiced in many different forests in Sri Lanka, and especially in Himalayas. And then Bhante faced near-death experience while he was climbing Mount Kailas. So all those are life experiences that Bhante got, and he's sharing all the experience with us. And after all these things, Bhante wanted to share what he discovered practicing the Buddha's teaching. Right now, we have been lucky to meet this Bhante because he does not usually appear in public. He appears in public very rarely. And this time, we got lucky enough to see this great monk. So, main sponsors, Javadhan family, thank you, and all the other supporters and family and people, thank you. We have people from different states who travel all the way down here to join Bhante, and also different faces. Though we have different colors, different skins, different languages, and different religions, different food, we all got cut from the same genetic cloth from somewhere on the planet. You all got cut from the same genetic cloth somewhere on the planet. So, you all are brothers and sisters of Mother Earth. This is our Mother Earth, and we all are brothers and sisters. That's the Bhante's message. Bhante will start the session, and also next week we have a retreat, right? Ms. Javadhan, in Mount Baldy. We invite you to join that too on the 5th. We started on the 5th in St. Center in Mount Baldy. So to welcome this great meditation master, spiritual teacher, say sadhu, sadhu 3 times, please. And right now, I will hand over the leadership for Bhante to continue the session. Thank you very much. May you be blessed.
I also would like to thank Yasas. He's the one who actually worked
from Austin, right? Oh, I didn't know.
He's the one.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Yasas. I talked to him many times, but I haven't seen him.
Thank you, Yasas.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bhante will continue. Thank you.
I also have to thank Jess and Brother Derek and
Our pleasure.
yes, all the directors or whoever's from the University of the West. Thank you for giving us this short notice. You guys are amazing, and I'm very thankful to you guys.
Well, we
Within
thank you.
24
We're very happy.
hours. Thank you so
We're
much.
very grateful.
Thank you.
Saranai. Blessings of the Triple Gem to all of you. I wish you all good strength. Even from now, we all need strength, we all need power to do something. So first, I'd like to really pay my great master, the Buddha, my gratitude and worship for him and refuge to him, and the Dhamma and the Mahasangha, the Arya Mahasangha, and also my teachers who brought me to this, guided me, and welcome my brother monks and also the friends in the Dhamma. And also I must apologize. This actually I'm doing it in an artificial way because this happens all the time. One reason is it's not this speech or something or coming. This is a new way people have got used to listening to speeches. So actually I'm also living, I have to practice the teaching. And it's a daily practice. So with the practice only I come. And sometimes some part of my practice, I call it my makeup. And makeup, you all put, not men I guess, but women put makeup normally. So it's a constant practice, and this also practice to meet you all. It's actually performing a duty when I see the calling for me to, be in the outside world and externally help the people in an outside way. So this one occasion, it started now 2 years back, and I couldn't come here, but and now this also was going to get postponed because I was with some viral infection. For 5 months I was really out, couldn't do anything. So, but my devotees all were worried what happened to Bhante. I have never fallen sick so much, but I used to tell them before also, when yogis fall sick, they become more powerful. When you're on the path, if some obstacle or anything that comes, you will become more strong. If you're on the path, everything comes as your blessing. It's not easy. Not to practice is easy, but practice is, you'll be challenged all the time. And this is not new for me. I've been facing this from age of 18, the time I solidly started practicing. So I'm sure you all are all practitioners, all understand English, I hope, and my English especially. Okay. So, and in this particular trip, I want to share something very specific. Have you met me before? Have you seen me before? The last visit? 7 years ago, I think. No, this is your first, okay? And I think I have some Chinese connection. I feel so connected. Maybe one birth I would have been Chinese. Or some relations of mine, I feel so connected to them. So are you all from Malaysia? There's 2 Chinese, right? Malaysian Chinese and then also Singaporean. You all are from original mainland, huh? Okay. Because I happen to travel to mainland to go to Kailash. Mount Kailash from Chendur. Like that. I have very special devotees from there who are very. So anyway, give me 2 hours, okay? Try not to go. Most of you, today this is the second journey. Yesterday you met me, right? And today, okay, yesterday we meet, no? Some of them were there. All right. So, today I want to specially share, I thought I was going to change my this thing because I want to make it interesting for me also, always repeating, trying to cover a certain this thing. So I thought I should ask your questions but then I thought I'll miss some, general message I want to give. But I'm sure you all have already been practicing and trying to practice the teaching. So I want to get into some points that will help you and drive you into a direction. But I'm sure all of you are interested to get interested in Buddhism or anything is for one reason, to know this world, one thing, okay, and to be self-realized. I mean, we have this term all the time, self-realization, self-realization. It should not be taken very lightly, because now Bhante also was telling about, in those days I had this actually about other planets and other dimensions and all that, okay. So this comes automatically now in my life. It's not that particularly I try to get connected to any energies or something or any dimensions or whatever. So one's very important definition of the way you're going to look at the world must be changed. Otherwise you're going to keep on researching. You'll be always in universities. You'll be researching all the time and you'll never find a solution. So the Eastern philosophy, the main thing, the way you should be looking at the world is through consciousness. Okay? So normally, our research, the modern research, the Western, this thing has gone in the direction of, you could say, with the five senses and taking externally, studying things in a very external way. Okay? So that's why we went to going further in the galaxies and so on and so on. Okay, but still it's also one thing is you have some kind of theory brought to what you're seeing and hearing, supporting your theory. So it has a certain, you could say, limitation. But if you can try to know, the world is nothing but when we are conscious of something, when consciousness arises. Okay? So because the Western world doesn't want to touch that too much because it can't be materialized, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, it's the fact, it's the truth. You can't materialize consciousness. Okay? Consciousness is something separate. It is separate from the body, but body is necessary for consciousness. I was looking for yesterday the gentleman, I don't know where he is. He's no more here. Okay. Yeah, they were interested about from Abhidhamma what they have got to know. Where the consciousness arises, which part of the body, okay. So I could answer immediately that time. I don't know, I don't think too much about, because consciousness has no locality, it conditionally arises. So Buddha is not like someone researched and found, he got enlightened to that. So there is no thing of trying out and proving and some kind of thing for him. So he simply says there's a condition rising, it needs an organ, it's an object, and then we will come to that, okay? So this consciousness is very important. So I know in the Western, world, the person who has explained about consciousness very much, or you could say the Eastern philosophies had some knowledge, especially in India. You find in the ancient times, even predating the Buddha appearing, but Buddha, I would call them like bodhisattvas who were still trying to know the secret of this world. They already had an idea consciousness was something separate, okay, and that it was karmically related. There's like because you in consciousness only you have the faculty. The one factor is feeling. Okay, we take for example. Say you are unconscious completely, okay? Just the body, just the fresh body is there. And then initially, how do you know you became conscious of how the consciousness arises? There are factors in consciousness. There's one thing called you feel. Say someone hit you, all right? You become unconscious. And you have become conscious, you slowly, you see, or slightly some recognition comes, and then you react also. Okay, so they happen so fast. So that is the happening in consciousness. So there's normally feeling, and you perceive the feeling, and you react according to how you perceive. If it's perceived as pleasant, you react with greed, attachment. If it's unpleasant, with with aversion. And if it's neutral, it's with delusion now. Okay? If you just wait without knowing, realize mind. So this reaction is normally called karma. So I don't tell people to believe these things blindly, because Buddhism is no point knowing, if you don't know about this basic, the principles working, it's not just for relaxation, for peacefulness, it has a bigger picture. It's also to prepare you for next life. This knowledge was completely lost in this modern world. After this modern, I would call it the Asuric civilization. Asuric means, I don't want to, it's not nice to tell like that. It's okay, it's good for good living, but not to know about life. It's a materialistic world, materialistic this thing. I'm sorry, I wish I wasted in a university for some more time. I would have got more vocabulary. I found Bhante had good because you would have been very impressed. My studies stopped long years back, and then now with a lot of Sri Lankan, my English is also gone. But no problem, I'm not worried. I want to convey the message and awaken the people to, I hope, whatever I can do, that they will not suffer too much and they will go on this path. So anyway, consciousness, so there is a karma behind. So this was known already. So I think don't believe karma or the thing also blindly, but make more research and then try to understand. Now I say about in this part of the world, one person I try to refer is Edgar Cayce, many mansions. Have you heard about Edgar Cayce? No? He was called the Miracle Man of Virginia. No? No? You should refer these books, okay? Because it's very nice, very interesting, so that you can consider that information and then see what you get, what an understanding you get. I think it will awaken you into a very big principle from a Western experience. He used to go into an unconscious state, actually, and he used to sort of diagnose people's problems, difficulties, or even diseases, and give solution. And then he was a Christian, actually. So Edgar Cayce. So then there are times there where he used to tell the problem is related to karma. He also have never heard this word. When they have written, it is said karma. And sometimes during the Crusaders' time, some people living now in New York or here and there, what they did then, how it is happening now. And it's very interesting, the way you have thought, even some things you have suppressed and kept within you, with anger, how it works in your life, in your working places, how the bosses treat you, how your family. This explains very nicely. So you will not, this first step, you will not blame the outside object. It is something that is come by cause and effect. So these are, I don't say that, I don't want to follow these things like, because it's told in Buddhism, karma. Okay? I would say you make honest research, not to sort of, and then you, because these are very important, then only you know the master, because there's a rebirth, how the rebirth happens, and it is not a body that goes, it's a consciousness. Consciousness, not that it goes or something, it arises. Okay, conditions are there, then it arises, then it has a, so we'll explain that. So this is a very important process, the next birth comes, all right, in a mother's womb or any other womb. So if there's accumulated karma, the body manifests. Okay, the body is a base for body. You need a body as a base for consciousness to arise. For consciousness to arise, you need a body as a support. It's not that it's just support only. So this is very important. This is very crucial distinction. So the Eastern philosophies, they had this knowledge already. They were called seers also, rishis, who already those days they also secluded themselves and tried to find the truth of life. And some of this was introduced by, what's his name? Deepak Chopra. Have you heard of him? Yes. Deepak Chopra, he to this part of the world, very nicely, the consciousness. Because in the modern time, they're still researching. They think it's something in the mind, in the neurons and in the brain. So it can never be found like that. And you'll be going on, you'll be dying without knowing this at all. And anyway, so this is very well known. So it has so karma, it brings the type of consciousness you need. Then in the consciousness only one factor, main factor is the feeling. So in short, in simple terms, if you say, if I give suffering to somebody, I get that suffering pain. So the pain comes in the feeling part. Okay. So this is there. So this the Buddha had already this knowledge, or when that background was there, then he adds, because there's another thing, those days they had this permanent soul. The permanent soul, the idea of permanent soul. So it's very interesting. It's also an experience in consciousness. It's also called pure consciousness. Okay? And pure consciousness is called. What is pure? It's pure from greed and hate. But it's not pure from delusion. Okay? These days it's getting very clear to me. Because so it's normally, so in the ancient times, they already tried to escape from consciousness through samadhi, through dhyana. I hope you're familiar with my talking, talking about mechanisms of, because I want to go, I don't want to waste time now, we don't have much time. I hope you'll get this subject, because I'm not trying to give any knowledge as such, I want to give you some, do you all understand what I'm saying? So it is also part of consciousness, okay? So normally, normally it's called also in the Hindu tradition where they practice, and the highest they could reach is that pure consciousness. Even Deepak Chopra will talk about it, about pure consciousness, that it is like an ultimate thing that you can, achieve. It's a kind of, it's also equanimous state, equanimity. It's filled with that. But then according to Buddha, wherever there is consciousness, it's a rebirth. So the Buddha was very, it's a rebirth. So it is according to Buddha, it's actually a very higher world, like the Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka, do you know? Have you heard this term? Brahma. It is like, they are like desireless, they are like beings who are really desireless, but they have this sense of I still, okay? It's not removed. So that plane, because that represents that consciousness, most probably they would arise in this state. So, but after that condition or that momentum is gone, they have to come back again. So Buddha saw this, and then only he found these 12 links. Have you heard about this, the 12 link? The 12 wheel of life, you have heard about this. This is very unique. Because when you know how the consciousness arises and how the consciousness will never arise. So Buddha has this thing, Sankara Pacchaya Vijnana. We also already told, like the reaction part we have. Okay, in every sense organ, when we experience, we have a reaction part. Okay, we have the eyes, object. Okay, I will tell how the consciousness arises, okay, according to Buddha, and it happens very fast. So just to make it like slow motion, say you have the ear and a sound wave. Okay, so that's the initial kind of, now this kind of talking, thinking, okay, will also lead you to enlightenment. You have to think. I don't want to tell the story parts of, I will come to that, because why I am telling you this, the thinking meditation will lead you to enlightenment. But the thinking should happen where you must also cultivate no thinking meditation. Okay. No thinking. With no thinking happens, that will happen, the real enlightening thinking. Alright, I will tell you how it is done, it should be done, because otherwise it will all be intellectual. It will never be personal experience. It will not see these truths. This is rocket science of consciousness, okay? Alright, so so this is very important, because you're on a voyage of realizing, self-realizing. This is important, otherwise what's the point? I'm not interested also in a lot of all this, to be able to give good speech or something, but I want to touch the truths and maybe share with you all. So, if I stop now, I will get like, I just have to go on explain to you all. So when an object is like that, okay, so this is normally So normally you have, like as I told you, in slow motion. This is very important. The karma is working. Okay, the karma, like the reaction part becomes the karma. Now you have an object, you have a sound. So when these two are there, they are material part. Okay. Then there is that initial kind of is called attention or a manasika. So these three coming together, they three have to come together. Then there's the initial, that happening, that consciousness arising. Okay, consciousness means a contact is called, but they happen like simultaneously. One of the factors of consciousness is feeling. You have a sensation, and then there's the other one, you perceive that feeling. You judge the sensation as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And then there's the reaction part. That's called sankhara. Okay, that's where the karma is created. So that is the cause of consciousness. Okay, so the whole practice is how to stop this reaction. Alright, so in this Hindu way, they had this way of coming to this samadhi or this pure consciousness. So there's no greed and anger. So of course, there's no karma then created in the sensual world. But you are still, karma is created in another world. And also it will not overcome your underlying potential or tendency to create karma. So Buddha, this revelation is very unique. He brings this wisdom as the way of liberation. Okay? So it's replacing consciousness from wisdom. So this is where the unique contribution comes. And it's not a normal wisdom, we'll talk about it, actually it's where the intuition is activated. So this, where there's dispassion, complete wisdom that brings complete dispassion. And and the other one, Buddha's purpose was to remove suffering, and his wisdom is that purpose. So he knew that craving is, any kind of attachment it's the cause of suffering. And when that craving is absent, there cannot be suffering at all. All right. So this is this slow motion. You must know this consciousness is something. This is very important to know that you have to know that it is this is how it happens for these 5 things only. So we have a body which is always used for consciousness to arise, and there is this contact, and when they arise, for this only we get craving as well as the idea of I. Okay? In the absence of this, without craving, we will not get the idea of I also. It's an idea. Okay? The sense of self or sense of ego. I'm going on a different track today, isn't it? Because anyway, I will come to that, why you should be thinking about this. So very important thing is there. You have to, the thing is, it's very important that now, we are going to face death one day. Okay? So how we live, we must know what to live, how to live, that we will prepare for that, as well as, okay, if there's, by this time, if you're research, you should know there's another life too. Okay. If you don't know that, then better not think about these things still, because no meaning. You must first find some solid idea that there is karma first, actually. Law of karma. And also you must realize to some extent that there's, according to karma accumulated, then there is another life coming next. Based on this only. And also the other thing you should know is these things cannot be studied in a theoretical way. They have to make it experiential. You have to change your life. You have to change your lifestyle. You have to sharpen your faculties. You see, you can't be intoxicated by phone and all these things, not today is a one. You have to sharpen this thing and have good lifestyle, and not sleeping late, getting up early, all these things, not for just good living or health, just to sharpen your faculty and you become someone who realizes these truths. So this is very important, I think. And also you have, I call this happiness without a reason. That happiness you must learn to change your life to. Not, normally we have sadness without a reason. Okay? Why? Because with senses, 5 senses, when you allow, your potential nature of tanha, craving, increases. It's a universal law where when the craving is increasing, your suffering has to increase. You can't just put artificial smile, haha, I'm okay. It won't work, This internal suffering has to be there. It can be seen, it can be felt. But if your craving decreases, it will be a universal law. Within you, you'll find joy. You can just sit and wait, no reason, just you can be here. This is very important. This can be achieved in a human brain, human life. So these are just, at least this much you must start your life. So this will at least lead you to, if you die, a Devaloka, or if you're really blissful, if you're like on high, meditation high is there, you know that? You have high in other things, but there is also meditation high. There's blissfulness coming. Normally if you take samadhi, blissfulness means like, it's actually, that feeling is a lot of that, you could say, spiritual, feeling. I can't know how to explain it. We call it niramisa. So, but that is Buddha tells to indulge in that feeling, because it doesn't damage your wisdom. It's not a feeling connected with your reptilian brain. Okay? So if you're with the reptilian brain, now normally what we have, even in our schools or colleges, they don't talk about it in the modern time. People will go to parties, this thing, and they pass the exams. I had a lot of classmates, they used to drink a lot and everything in the school, where I went, but they passed their exams. So they are not developing, especially their faculty. That's not a tradition that's not a type of period we are living in. Okay, it's not, our education is not connected with our character or our, sharpening of our faculties and making, so those days it was there. So main one is celibacy actually, brahmacharya. So this is a main, because the main pressures of the 5 senses, first is sex, second is food. So if these two are really not, this thing, of course beyond that any drug addiction or addictions and things like that, and I call today the other addiction is through phone, where more dopamine is released. So there the same thing happens in drinking and so on. So in these cases, the frontal cortex, which we really need to, as a human being, we have the capability, because there are so many eyes here. We are some may never open it in their lifetime. One is divine eyes are there, and there's wisdom eye in the frontal cortex. Okay, they are not in a physical form, but more you have greed and what is lust and all this anger, you block this eye by sinusitis and all this thing. Okay, can you picture this? Yeah. So so you should know it will happen. So anyway, this is there. So very important, you have to change your life. So you have to bring out this, I call it, at least to know your faults and where you are and where you have to get next. And so it's very important the habits you develop, daily habit. And even people who have normally been successful in normal worldly life, even some billionaires, they do it unconsciously, some part of these practices. When they normally get up, they empty their mind. I have heard that. They empty their mind from, I don't want to tell who, maybe Elon Musk or okay, but unfortunately, because they're going in a material way, they also get involved. Maybe I'll be now arrested, don't worry. they will be also going to intoxication. Because you find that, that if you remain too much in the devil's area of the 5 senses, You know, it's not, you're not going to be very, very, you know, you're not going to evolve into, you're going to be trapped in a not a good thing. You can find billionaires, they are drug addicts, you know. They have so much money to spend. Not drug addicts means they would spend their time in, just because their mind is still working in that pressure area only. And billionaires and so on, and maybe they have 2-3 wives, or maybe 80 years old, they still get married, and so on. It's so unfulfilled. They're still in the sense world only. So you must be fortunate, you know, that you're not trying to enhance, and some karma is there for you to now have more self-inquiry and to go beyond. Before you die, at least to have fearlessness to face this death. And that is some karma also, because I too now am like, say, of course, when we went to southern Lesotho, southern Africa, from that time I'm this thing, but I'm more interested, not like my brother. I'm really more, you know, searching, you know, always sort of kind of different. So it's coming, I can only explain it from a previous life. I see as myself as an old monk, you know, striving those days, and when I was young, this birth, I was getting a lot of results, all the hard work. Because I used to go for walks, and, you know, just, it's a long story, you know, Bhante told some of the things, but even theory of relativity interested me, and Einstein was my hero, that's why he helped me in a certain way, and then I related to other worlds, and then I think last time I explained I don't want to go to that topic, okay. It might interest some people interested in physics and psychology. I made mind particles, and something goes as fast as speed of light, it goes back in time. So I related that to memory. It is okay. And then there should be a point where time might stop, like that I assumed, but that led me to this impermanent perception. So this is, I think, some meditation I would have done in the past. Others would have gone mad, just thinking in this way. Yeah, it brought me those experiences. So I want to now actually tell, you have to personally, to get experience, you have to change your life. That's very important. And you have to get that, it's also given nice way, okay, like you have a water, and if the water is full of dye, you can't see your reflection, right? Like you look at the thing, if the water is full of all the colors they have put inside, you can't see your reflection. It's like sensual desires. Sensual desires, if you experience it more and more, or allow it, it will diminish your ability to see the reality, truth, wisdom. It will diminish your ability to have this faculty. And now, if you have a boiling water, with full of anger and so on, it's related like that. You can't see your reflection. So muddy water, like that, drowsiness and so on. So you have this other aspect, faith. These are the frontal cortex, faith, mindfulness, and you could say effort, not lazy. And then main one out of that is wisdom. Okay, and then and samadhi. All right, samadhi is also there. So these are all related to frontal cortex. You don't see people in samadhi in a bar or something. It's a different type of samadhi. And so this is samadhi, real samadhi, which is leading, because it goes against defilements, greed and hate. And then you get this reward, which is a higher pleasure. It's a pleasure. If someone experiences that pleasure, they automatically see this as suffering. They will not go. They will automatically follow the precepts. All right. So this is very important. So I normally explain some few things just to stress about this phone is a problem. I don't know if young people are there. You know, you have heard about the blue light in the screen also. So it's said that it affects the serotonin, pineal gland, something. I hope you can find out more. I can't remember, a long time ago. So it's affecting, it's damaging. So now to sell these phones, I think they are putting screen or something, right? So they will go on like that just to sell this. By the time you'll be damaged completely. So one has to be careful how you use it, and also how addictive it is. You must know, the short videos, it has so much, because of doom scrolling. Am I right? It's really nice word, doom scrolling, right? You doomed. So this is not a joke, really. It's really very important. You should be aware, because if you go on like that, I don't think, our life will day by day will go on, and it's like we will not really change ourselves properly. You will have to use it for sure for GPS and for communication, really what is necessary. But keep in mind that you must learn to slowly reduce these things to improve your mental health and making your life sharpen and make your mind a university filled with wisdom. So I think this is very important. I don't want to touch some of the points which I have noticed, how even cases of suicide through games and all that, and also sensual, like some people got so addicted, that like it opens up another dimensions, like because it has so much, it can exaggerate so much of certain stimulation that it can open up levels of consciousness that you are not aware, and that's why that leads to like very big crime cases after that. Okay, if they have the potential of doing that crime, so then they will be driven by that, because you will be possessed by certain forces. So you're inviting those forces. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I don't know, so just to be aware, even a small snake or a big snake is a snake. So, but for your practical purpose, you will have to use it. So learn how to do it, but make sure that you are and make a good habit. So I know another thing that those days one of my teachers, he used to tell one of me, like we didn't have too much together with him, but from small age I knew him. So he really was putting things out in a very practical way. He passed away already. So he told one time, like when you have some negative emotions, you have a corresponding, hormone that is created in your body. Okay, like for example, you have anger or even greed or everything, like anger especially, or aversion. Then you have adrenaline, fear. So adrenaline makes you have those thoughts. So there's like an interconnection between these two. So now he's to tell me those days, if you have no anger, like compassion or something, going really in the opposite direction, there should be some hormone or chemistry that should happen in your body or mind. Then he told minus adrenaline. So I remember I just told him, I remembered about ojas. Have you heard of this word, ojas? It's an Ayurvedic. This thing is very much related to when you live a very, you could say, a celibate life. Because opposite of celibacy, like so much sexual activity, it creates an entire opposite. And if you curb that, it has so much power. So it creates a kind of a substance which is supposed to be a super, not this super, superfoods or something, but it's like a super vitamin or something. It is ojas. So yogis, they create it more. Okay, so then normally that travels to your brain and opens up areas of the brain which are now being open. And normally when you have a lot of faith, it has this effect: faith, devotion, and faith, devotion, and concentration. You have this ojas created very much. Okay. So the other one is when you analyze. That is a more finer one. Is called tejas. It's more finer when you analyze, contemplate. It creates a very different, very very finer, very wholesome, very powerful, potent physical thing. That is a substance in you. So I don't think the scientists already know about it too much. So normally what it does is it opens up areas of the brain and gets deposited. So then it creates those thoughts again, that thought pattern, thought way. So initially when in a difficult way you do it, and then it starts to have a cycle effect, and then it increases more and more. So people who have developed that more and more, you can see their body also changes. Yesterday I told, you all have. So you have a shine, you will get a shine in your body. You will have baby skin. Baby skin means not rough skin, Okay, and some people have baby skin even if they are criminals because there's some karma, good karma, they not good karma just showing them. But generally, I'm talking about. So you will get a shine in your cheek and forehead. So I normally tell, don't lose that shine. So it also shows the character. Your skin will glow. It should glow. Okay. So if you do the other way, it will have another effect. But normally we can't notice because we are all in the same boat. So we think even, it reflects what we have within us, it reflects in other people. So, but I'm telling you just to encourage you so that, you, even if you do something negative and you take a bath or whatever, it doesn't go away. So it's by this washing, on disciplining and on the path, it will create this magnetism and energy, and which is preparing your body and your mind to enlightenment. Okay, that's what's the purpose of all this. Of course, you have a pleasant life also, that's a result, but the main purpose is not just to have a pleasant life, to become awakened, to become wise about this world and this life before we pass away, and so we know the secret of life. So I hope this help you have a daily meditation. Now I will come normally what I say in the beginning, okay. I was coming like the reason 2 years back I decided to come and give this teaching was we'll have a 15 minutes question, question and answer. Reason was that of course I was with the corona and everything also I was this thing, but I continued going to the jungle and some Himalayas, also Kailash, like every year. That happened. But in last 2 years back, one of my assistants in India, he just told me there's one special yogi, please you can go and meet. But I was not very impressed. I thought, why should I? But when he showed me a picture and all that, something told me just visit the place and so. So actually my assistant in India, he's interested in miracles and so he always tells Bhante, why can't you do some miracle? This is his thinking always. This is what his idea is. One day just to create some chocolate and give to his son. So one day I found his son. He was surprised by that. Not I guess, but he was lost, and I think the Devas helped me to find him. So anyway, he's this kind of very simple-minded but good-hearted person. Long years they have been helping me. So because he told me, okay, I thought I visit this place. So this yogi is famous now. The reason is now even in India and all these places also, materialism is so much that they don't care about this robe. They think they're just Babas. Have you heard? Have you been to India? Okay. So they're just Babas, some are smoking, some or other way they would think they are full of money and all that. So they don't see they have some spiritual power. Okay. Of course, there is the past. It's happening even in our countries too, everywhere in the world. So, but time to time, as this kind of situation is there, also there will be someone popping up, showing actually there is this power still is there. So what happened? This is such a Baba or monk in the Hindu tradition. There lakhs and lakhs of people are coming. What he does is, what he was famous for, like he would call someone from the crowd, and he would tell to sit down, and then he would have a board. He would write, he would write, and then he'll ask, "What's your problem? And why did you come?" And they would say this, that, and so on. And then he has written all the problem and some solution what they had to do. So it's they put in YouTube and everything, and India is such a place with a lot of problems, people. So they all had a lot of faith also when such a thing happened. So it's like that. So it happened. So anyway, I was there. To cut short quickly the story, I don't have time to tell stories today. So anyway, I went, and those were lakhs of people. And I must tell you something, it was in such a way that they would not properly recognize me. Okay, I was also not properly. I see, it's a miracle how he would have any this thing. But he happened to meet me. He happened to come out of the crowd and meet. And he even took me to his home, and actually he did the same thing to me also. And then I met him several times. And then he told the reason why we meet like that so easily was that he and me have been brother monks, yogis in the past life. And because it's also surprising for me. And so what happened, because I don't have ways of communicating, phone or cards, but it was very interesting. You can't call it coincidence so many times. So then what happened was, very interesting thing was, one day he came out and said, not enough, not enough. A lot of crowd, but he just comes to me whenever I'm from there, and he said, not enough, not enough. And I asked what his English is also not good because they are from very village, he's not educated at all. So young person, very handsome, very, very, very vibrant, wonderful, to have beings still walking on this planet, giving again some life in different way. So anyway, he told, I asked him, what is it, Swami? Then he said, he also don't know. So he said, in my room, I will explain to you. And then when I came to his sort of kutia, you cannot imagine, it's not some kutia like this, thousands of people. So it's a very interesting, I can't put you the picture exactly what I was in. So and it's very, very, you go to like a different period of yogis and masters when they were really alive. So when I went there, he explained, we expect you can do more meditation, more power you can get. That's why we want to encourage you. Not that you are not, he didn't say like this good English, like flowing. It was through a translator. Okay. So I want to encourage you. And then I went back and I started practicing very much. Now I must tell you, before becoming a monk, I have been doing this analyzing, contemplation very much with the sutras. Buddha's original word. Now I was talking about consciousness and so on. These things I have been doing very much. Okay, and I knew that that's the way. There's no doubt. So my teacher also enhances that. My German teacher, he was the one who brought me the suttas, and I'm going to give you all something in that direction. I hope I can cover that regarding how to think about it, so that it will help you. And so what happened? I was doing these things very well. And it started from physics already, the impermanence perceptions I had when I was 18. And in that direction, it comes by thinking, analyzing. Not too much thinking also. It is, I told you, a thinking that should happen without thinking. So, without thinking happens how? When the 5 hindrances are absent. When the water is not with dye or colors or boiling or like that. The brain is like that, the mind is like that. When it is there, is no thinking. Thinking comes with mostly the 5 senses, sensual world. Okay? When they are absent, you have one thought. That's where the samadhi is. Okay? When one thought is like no thinking. Okay? So this is the one that gives you that intuition, I would call it. So that's where you have the wisdom taking place. So so what happened when I was young, after I became a monk, I started living a very tough life. Okay? Tough means ascetic life. Not because by force, I imagine a monk's life should be like that. And I felt very familiar with that. We used to go walking and all with arms round and hundreds of kilometers, initially I with my teacher, and slowly, but day one we started Pindapat, not like, like this arranged. We, just goes, that's why his first instruction was the Pindapat, that's why hopefully his blessings will also come when people are, that's what I just do it wherever I go. So I had to live a very tough life, and I also had to live with some tough brother monks around me. That's not, I think, my karma. I don't blame them. So it was not easy as a surrounding every way, but I was already prepared. So I inclined more to samadhi, concentration power. And then this contemplation, analyzing diminished. Only when I face very tough situation, like really, like in the jungle, when wounded or it happened, that where I found samadhi I can't get that time, because it needs physical certain comfort to get samadhi. Otherwise you get easily distracted by the pain. But analyzing the pain, facing it, that you can do. That's why the power of wisdom is so much that you can use it for any feeling and get your peace. So this one, so I inclined to, so what I developed in the past, it was there as a memory, but new wisdom or new practice didn't happen in that direction. So it went on like that. So I used to take the Samyutta Nikaya. I knew how to do it with the Buddha's teaching. Now this is what I'm trying to, this thing like original time. How to take the sutta, to contemplation and for enlightenment. Not like a study. It never should be done as a study or to pass exams. It's distorting this purpose of the suttas. They are giving visions. The sutta, the words have an ability. It gives vision into the world of Buddha. Okay, it's wisdom world. It awakens the functioning of our existence as in terms of cause and effect. It's a final science. All right, it's a final wisdom, a final science about our existence. So these things. That's why I tell now we have our retreat. In the retreat also, you have the body. You come to the retreat. It's a plane in the sense world. Maybe it's a cabin, maybe it's a jungle or whatever place. But there you're being stimulated to experience another dimension, awakened state. It can happen, and then people will come with tears. They might see the Buddha through the Dhamma. That's what now it's actually. I'm not interested in giving you some knowledge. I'm trying to give you an experience to make you realize the two different things of knowing and realizing. So knowing, we have a lot. Someone says Four Noble Truths. We all know it, but have you realized it? This is what I'm trying to actually. Of course, I know about it. It's not something I'm coming today and telling you or anyone. I knew it many years back as a young boy itself. So these words are there. This is where. So this all stopped a little bit after I ordained. Then I had to go on a very, I've told you, like those days with the GT, I walked. I was a young monk also, so with a lot of energy with samadhi. Samadhi was increasing more and more, so I didn't feel also much heat, cold or whatever. So then I used to take the word Buddha's teaching. I used to take the Buddha's teaching, even when I go to Himalayas, because I want to do what I did in the young to experience that again. So I knew this is the way, but only 1 page, 2 page. Then after that, I used to go to Samadhi. So it went on for years, until now 2 years back, when I had this meeting. So what happened? He told me, so I did the same. When he told not enough, I went and sort of practiced again, more samadhi, and little bit I tried to read and contemplate, little bit, and came back. When I came back, he also again told me 50%, right? Not enough. Then he told me he will explain to me, and then he explained to me, you're not doing the know me meditation enough. That's how he put, because he from his English language, know me. But I have been telling about know me with some Chinese friends. They are from Taiwan and all that. They don't know English at all. Some of my known devotees. So they also tell this way, know me. So know me is the anatta practice. And it's coming directly from the sutta. So I knew that not reading, and also explained to me, there's a book with you. So it's very interesting. No one knows that I carry that Samyutta Nikaya in my luggage. and even the Himalayas, I'm carrying the caves, I keep it. I have the old one with withered and with water, and it's like maybe it's very good memory. So, but I read 1 page, 2 page, and then it explained that this book, if you read, everything will be cleared out. Everything will clear out. And know me meditation is the highest meditation. Now he's telling me he's only developing a different way, but he would have seen. That's why I say it's like an MRI scan. They are seeing from their divine eye whatever maybe have developed in the past. They told me this is the highest meditation. If you do this, we'll have to search for you. He encouraged me that time. I know he will never do, only while he was telling me this only he's thinking about it. But he has that ability, definitely I feel, to see a person's underlying, wholesome types of things they had developed in the previous lives or whatever, I don't know. Maybe this is my assumption again, okay? So anyway, that encouraged me, then I knew there's something wrong. I forced myself, when I went to Sri Lanka, I stopped this samadhi thing. I forced myself to read, just not even contemplating, just fast reading of Kandavagga. Kandavagga is the main, this one of the section where, because my teacher told me a way how to do it. In the retreat, I'm doing those things for them to, get this experience. In the retreat, I'm mixing up actually, because 5 days is not enough for me. It's not enough, it's not but I'm trying to mix and give you some, actually like giving 1,000 gems, but some one gem even you'll carry away. So that's how it is, this based on my experience with these people. So then I forced myself and read this Kandavagga in a jungle. I went to Sri Lanka back. I came back. After reading that, then 80% according to him. Suddenly, then I was really impressed, I'm thinking, I'm not saying calmness or enjoying any blissfulness, but just doing that analyzing of a master Buddhas, this thing, that there is that much of, of course, we know it, like Buddha is someone, if you do something, but told by someone of practicing of another, can't say they also practice religion, they also found some truths about the world. We have we have traditional monks and yogis, they are like, but they have not touched the truths about it. So these people also, I believe, you find in Muslim or Christianity also, who will touch some truth about the world, they'll be universal. Their gift will be applied to any human being. So that's I found like him, I am coming from entirely, but he could see internally what I have developed. So then 80% then gave me encouragement. I forced myself again and read the next part, Salayatana Vagga, and in the Samyutta Nikaya, and then 120%. Okay. Then I started. Then only it encouraged me to. I must quickly do this thing for the people. So the ashram, that's all ashram. Not ashram, really a meditation center. Everything was started in Sri Lanka. Now ordination is going on. So I'm trying to give the people who are slowly pushing this thing. Ordination means no, I don't easily ordain. I will check. So I would say you can attend Nibbana. You don't need that. Even as a layman, as a retreat, important is to attend. Important is to cross to the other side. Which boat you take doesn't matter. Whether it is a speedboat, whether it is a, it's important that you are pedaling, you are moving, evolving. So as a layman or as a monk, doesn't matter. So I'm not really, who have that, I want to encourage them and maybe make them like not attached to monasteries, they're just pursuing, the enlightenment way. This is what this 3, 4 are there now. So it's a base in Sri Lanka. So anyway, this is a very important thing. This the reading of the Buddha's original words is a magic book, I call it now. It's a magic book. It can change your karma. It can clear your karma very fast. So I tell you also to keep it in the bedside, and read. But now I want to explain some very important point. Okay. What my teacher shared, and just to prepare you, what you're reading there, is coming from the essence of those teachings, but some explanation my teacher is to give, I'm mixing it with that. so that to prepare, to give you some sample of how to think, what type of thinking you must do, okay, to get this awakening, right? So it's regarding this consciousness, all these things I talk about. It's regarding when you're dying in the last moment, okay? Have you heard you get a last thought? Have you all heard? Yeah. Okay. So I have heard people also who have seen people dying, and some people, the way they lived and all that, like they have been womanizing, drunkards and something, and when they were dying, I heard, one of my relations actually, black dogs are coming. So anyway, okay. So some have other experiences. Anyway, last thought we know we have, and we have another thing that happens: the last breath. All right. So we already know before that consciousness, it needs some conditions to arise. What are the conditions? We need an organ, we need an external object, and then we have to have that attention. These three coming together, consciousness arises. If one of these three is absent or some defect, it can't arise. So it's a conditioned thing, consciousness. Okay? So now, last moment, normally we get a thought based on our karma. For example, for you to come here, you got to know about this program from somebody. Okay? And you felt like coming. You had some desire to come. So there are two things. You had desire as well as you had karma with me to come. Okay? So, otherwise, maybe someone here, but they don't have karma with me. And then, so the desire, so these two have to be there. Remember, you have to have the desire. So desire, karma is interrelated, because karma is created from, of course, this good karma. Maybe you had enlightened karma, want to become awakened, and so on. So, just this idea you have to have very clearly. This is what happens. It also same in other things. We might not notice it, okay, in our lives. We want to go to this university or do that, or it has karma and related with that. So what happened when you normally, for example, live a life where you attach to your family and working place, okay, you have so much attachment to these people. So when you attach, what happens with the five senses, with interacting, you have anger and attachment and anger, okay. You get angry because you are attached to some way. So this is creating karma always. So normally that type of karma is in the sensual plane, okay, in the family and so on. If you are not practicing, if you are not early morning getting up and sort of, if you do the practice, the karma starts to reduce. All right. So your reaction should reduce. All right. I will maybe try to explain that also, how it should happen. And so now if you accumulate like that, last moment when you're dying, what are the possibilities? What is the possibility of what kind of thought you will get? If you have lived a life where normally you have been attached, you are involved with the worldly life, maybe you're not doing too much bad things too, but so normally what we are really attached to, maybe, we have interacted so much, maybe your husband, wife, or children, or parents, like that, or a boss or whatever. This can be an object that can come. So it's in the sensual world, an object, when you're dying, okay? Based on the karma, type of karma we have to read. So if that object comes, now when we are dying, we have still nature of desiring. Will we be distracted to that object? And there's another thing that happens. The last breath is going. Can we watch the breath? Keep watching when you're dying, or will we be distracted by an object? What do you think? Will be?
Distracted.
Okay. Why? Because we have karma still, and because of karma we are getting an object, and then we have the desiring nature. Okay? So, think for example, I add one thing. Have you heard about a non-returner? Anagami. In a non-returner, why is he called non-returner? Because he doesn't return to this five sense world. he has no karma in the five sense world and he has no desire in five sense world. So, but he's still not arahant for some reason. Okay, but this, when I'm talking, you have to learn to picture this within you, like you are becoming that, and what will happen, like, you know, you have to personalize it. Then only it will become a meditation object, a thinking thing that will help you to become awakened to something. Okay, so when, for example, so he, now when he's dying, when he passes away, he has a last breath too. He has no desires. Will he be watching the last breath? What do you think? Yesterday, I hope people who came yesterday, what do you think? Do you think he has no desires at all whatsoever? And he has no karma whatsoever? But why is he not an arahant still? He's not an arahant because still he has some desire. Not to this, for samadhi, for neutral feeling. Okay? I'm fast, I want to give you the answer, I can't wait maybe now. So, okay, mentally picture this in your thinking mind. Okay? So then, and he has karma also, still in the, not this world, in that such a divine world. So when last breath goes, he'll be distracted by the feeling of peace or not. He'll be distracted. So when distracted means he'll be focused. Focus means consciousness can arise or not. The conditions are there or not.
Yes.
Conditions are there. Just you have to see how, when there's the conditions, how it arises, the consciousness. Okay. So just think of the arahant, for example. Just think you became an arahant. No desires whatsoever. No karma also. Will you be able to keep your attention the last breath? Just watch. If you are there completely, will there be conditions for consciousness to arise? Will there be? It's not a big question. There won't be. Okay, but my teacher used to warn me, it's deep. I also warn you, it's deep. Later on, if you happen to read the original sutras, and I hope you will be able to, and these are to be contemplated in your walking meditation, you must keep your area of thinking in this. Not too much thinking, too much, if you want to, you have to limit your thinking to these essential things of how the conditioned nature, and so it's not just to talk about the arahant, it's talk about the conditioned nature of consciousness. This kind of explanation is told. So this is just a sample, just an idea for you to learn to think in the Dhamma way. So, and if this is done with your character developed, placing your attention more to the present moment and then thinking, these two should go hand in hand. Okay? Present moment means emptying your mind. Be mindful and so on. But you have to think also. If you just be mindful, you don't get that deep wisdom. You have to have the Dhamma thinking. Then only you will have the proper, level of enlightenment that can happen. Proper type of wisdom that can happen. So, reading the teachings, it's like meeting the Buddha directly. And that will definitely, and then meditating separately. These two should go together. With Metta Bhavana, with Anapanasati, you must start at least tomorrow, tonight, just make a start and be mindful when you're going, coming, and then sense control, what you're seeing, hearing. So then you become a yogi. You're very careful what you see, hear. Those are permanent practices if you want to do. And trying to, when you're driving, you're holding the steering wheel, feeling the seat, and then, you learn to remind yourself, these simple practices, they should become permanent. So, you do it, repeat. It will not happen naturally. You go run again, your thoughts will go, the habit of what I'm going to do and what I've done. But you have to remind again just to do this practice. Then it will become slowly a habit. And when you're walking, you also remind yourself, don't walk fast. Let me be mindful. Let me experience peace and walk. And like that, when you do, side by side this, and then reading, then you're on a path. not reading everybody's ideas. Go to the horse's mouth, the Buddha himself. And I will tell you, this is we are very sure of this path. There's no this thing. So I hope I have. We'll go for questions. I think we can. For me, make it interesting for me also. Yeah, please.
The knowing meditation you said yesterday, I thought about it, and I'm not sure if I'm practicing this correctly. I pick little things up by reading different books of different adhyans and bhaktis. But maybe you can check and see if I'm doing a variation of it, or tell me what to do next. So, after going to Samadhi and allowing myself to calm down from maybe a very, very difficult day of work, I have learned to come and try to get an accounting of the day. And I try to find if I had some sort of a difficult emotion that built during that day. If I got agitated, if I got mad, if I got sad, if I got hurt.
Yes.
And I try to remember that. And through the Buddha's teachings, I know this is because of my defilement. So I try to look inside to find my defilement, why I got sad, why I got mad. And sometimes it's very difficult because I lie to myself. And I sometimes feel like I see it, but I'm lying to myself. And then I look again the next day. Sometimes I see more. But later, when I see the actual defilement, I'm very emotional. And I actually see that. I feel maybe because of my daily life being so stressful and a lot of things happening in my life. Is this a part of this no-me meditation you're talking about? But
No, it's good. It's good. But if you're very active, I mean, most of you might be working very much. In that case, I tell like you must learn to use your gearbox, like the gears. When you're on a, when you have to go on an elevation, then you put first gear, right? And then your fourth gear when you're going down. So it's like that, you must know your gearbox. Like when you're having a very busy and really, I see it also some karma, that you have to be so active, that's only the living part in that. Then you must only think of what is the thing that will protect you when you're a little free from that. So I see in the modern time here in these countries like this, your life is good, you can earn and you can live this thing. But if you have the value to, I want to develop myself, or as a person, or as a towards enlightenment, or to higher states of consciousness, then you must make it a point that how much my limit, that I get more time just to fulfill. So that much you must, I think these things you must decide, like how much I must spend just so that I have my earning and then I can do my duties, but not beyond that, so that I have time to make things grow within me. That's very important. Another one is immediately one must check 5 precepts, that one can keep the 5 precepts. If one one must not worry that one can do a big meditation. So that's like you're in the first gear, that when that time, that cloud or that stormy thing, so you have the foundation still for you to go on. And if you're really sincere, things will turn out where you will find that, and what you have done already while that period was there, that will become a strength for you to really progress. So you must see where you at. And I used to tell, like, I was like, when I was a young boy, first I was attracted to cricket too much. So I couldn't stop playing cricket. So when I started the meditation, I realized that I had to give up one by one. So that was my vice, or what, that was my weakness. So I thought, okay, I realized also when I gave up some of my weakness, or that something used to come to me. Something extra, something I used to get something in 100-fold. So this way I was encouraged to sort of look at myself and that's very important, I think, for practically when you're living a worldly life, that you are one step by how you use the phone, maybe how you must notice. If you don't know already, you are making a mistake, and then there's no way of how to progress. So when you have your flashlight towards you, as a lay person, especially when you're busy and with a lot of activities, then in terms of your character, in terms of your activities, you look at the immediate problem and how I could, one step at a time, not thinking at once you become like the thing that one step, one thing started, then you start to, have a kind of a cycle effect happening, or a momentum is created. So that is very important. And know me is actually that you can already start in your working place. You can keep the book I told you, Word of the Buddha. In that you have already in Buddha's many teachings regarding wisdom. He sees also sometimes the world in terms of the 5 elements. We might do it quickly, I hope. 5 elements, and okay. So you can try this out. You can practice it. Don't wait for tomorrow or day after. You can immediately try. I did it. That's why get these books. That's your best friend. It will start to make you think in certain the thoughts. So I also, these are with the original words of the Buddha, taken some essence, not just so you don't have the bulk of the books, but they are meditation objects also. So I remember I had an auntie who used to get very angry, or I was left with her in Sri Lanka when my parents left back to Lesotho, Southern Africa. So I was doing my A-levels at that time. I had to be with her. So those days, she actually, took me to the tooth relic. Buddha's tooth relic is there, and with special passes. So I saw with crowd, with line, and with all this beautiful devotional, this thing that I wanted to go in the line. So anyway, those days, Sri Lanka, we were having LTT, terrorist problems, where a lot of crowds, bombs go off, and so on. So when we came back to city, the Colombo, I suddenly, those days I was little, really odd guy. That time I get some feeling and I want to do it. I would not ask even elders, can I do? I would say I'm doing like that. So I told her I'm going back. I'm going to see the tooth relic again. And she just shouted at me. And when she shouted, I remember one day back or 2 days back, I have been reading the Mahasti-Padopana Sutta by the Buddha. It's by Sariputta, Buddha's second main disciple. It's very much analyzing, and this know me comes very much. Maybe we'll try to do a little bit here, that how it's a concept, it's an idea. Like if you take a part, like for example, Buddha explains, or Sariputta Maharatan also explains, that normally Buddha didn't see in terms of atoms, right? It was explained more in terms of nature, hard nature, soft nature, hard nature, watery nature, fiery nature, like this. So it takes like what is more of hard nature within us is bones, teeth, like that, okay? And then if the hardness of the tooth here and the hardness of this mic and outside any hard object is same. Okay, there's a way of looking like that. So that perception, when you develop, it's like you begin to see that your body becomes empty. Empty of a person. That is a conceptualized thing. All right. So what I used to read like that, those days I also had the habit of applying and visualizing it and practicing it. So when my auntie shouted at me, I immediately meant picturing this. The sound is not mine, because it depends on, it's a perception, and it depends on this body. The body is already not mine. So then, like that, you would have to increase your wisdom. So this, you can try it out. And then see, next time when someone is shouting, don't experience it through the five senses, try to experience it through your wisdom. Have you tried this? In practical bosses and all that, you must try this. In your working places, with your children maybe, this I have tried, and we should try this. Then only it becomes then you're using that wisdom, you're not creating karma again. It's not that she's wrong, you have also scolded, you had this angry nature. So this is very important. This I did those days, so now it's all, this Dhamma has to be, that's why when you're reading, your perceptions are changed, you'll be changing. You'll be slowly changing your personality, your person, because of your association with the enlightened Buddha. If you're watching always, like those days I used to like Bruce Lee and I'm not joking. You? Too much, too much. My mother had a hard time with me. And if you see those movies and all that, when you go out, if you get slight, you want to check those punches, right? This will happen. So what you put into it's also things that we associate. You have to be careful what you associate, the energies of people. Not that you say you're a sinner and I'm a good man. They definitely influence you. So even physically, if you have doubt, you must not associate a person who has to find that energy is there, because this is also very important. All these things influence. So a book, a word, this all will be influencing you. Okay? So I hope this is very important. Now, when you read these things, hope we can quickly do. Another question, because I would like you to.
Quick question, can I offer you some water?
No, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Much merit. Please, anyone? Yesterday all got enlightened or not?
Can you kindly put on some advice? If you can give some advice when you go on this path, when you develop your mindfulness, there are certain obstacles you face, especially on your body, when you do Vedana and all that. So certain energies, sometimes your energy centers are blocked. Is there any advice you can give to release these?
I understand. Yeah, we have so many ways, because we will face a lot of, like if you're really striving, you get more physically, bodily, and you can't solve some problems and so on. Buddha is also not alive. So I normally say this one practical things, like places, energy places. We have used, like, for example, I tell you one example what happened to me in the jungle one time, just for an idea. This is actually more than my teacher. I stayed deep jungle. There's some karma I had. I don't know anyone from Sri Lanka, like Kabilita. Have you heard? From Kabilita, about 2 kilometers away, I was in a hut.
Near the army camp?
Yeah, the army camp was the one who gave me food. Now they are giving food like that, like they don't see me, they leave it. Here is like Kabilita now. So, yeah, when I was staying there, it's a hut actually near the river. So, hut means, corrugated this thing and one bamboo, just poles and snakes. Many snakes I experienced there. Later I was also wondering, I'm staying with so many snakes. The night time, evening time. Anyway, there one time I was getting this sound, like this cricket sound, Like, normally it is known in psychological this thing that there's some mental, right? It's associated, like it's very common symptom of a sound, like a sound, I don't know. So so when I got this sound more especially of that, I didn't, it was not normal, unusual, so I would not stay in that area. I just immediately left. Not easy to leave suddenly like that. So, but anyway, I left the place and came to Colombo. And I was wondering what happened to me, what was that peculiar experience. Then I had my own way of knowing things, I don't know how to tell you all, but anyway, it's like so many spirits are there around there. So many unseen spirits and, energies, like they have come like to get married, and maybe out of to the compassion or whatever, they're not leaving. so they have also come to Colombo. Luckily, I don't see them properly. Big stomach, long tongue, and so what is the solution for that now? Even to go to a psychologist? No, there was a solution. The sacred places are made for certain purpose. Like they are consecrated. I don't know how to pronounce this properly. They are properly, they are energized. Life is given. Like we have ancient king's time and, like Anuradhapura and all these places. They have. So Kirivera, because Jala is close to Kirivera. Kirivera is where one of the places where Buddha came, gone to Sri Lanka and this thing. So that place, and there's a Bodhi tree, Ashtapala Bodhi near Attanagalla. So the solution was to go to these two places, just hang around there. Worship and hang around. When I was here, hang around, these things have to leave from the body. So these are because they're unseen, there's no medicine or something. Sometimes the energy field or something, this one way, that's what pilgrimages, these are all quite good time to time. Not keep on, this is my solutions, if you just get some problem. This is one, and then of course to have wisdom, always, keep touch with the reading and contemplating is the biggest weapon and protection, I would say. Sometimes some type of chanting and devotional thing also will also good to increase your blockages.
Sometimes you have so much of energy, you don't know how to ground it, and also, healing energy. So I don't want to go on that path.
I understand, yeah. You must place this. I tell when you have something like this also, place it to the Buddha, like Brahma Murta time. I hope you can go through this, some of, I can't explain now, regarding who have cancer or unsolvable problem. I have given away Brahma Murta time how to, a way of thinking to get the Buddha's power in a different way. This is actually, it's not the exact teaching, but it will help one person who wants to resolve some kind of, on the spiritual path or any other thing, they want to, this will help the way. I hope you can find that. I don't know where there's one YouTube link, no? Please try to find with the Bodhi, with the Bodhi tree and how to imagine it. I've seen people getting result. I don't know, I'm also surprised how they...
I made the Ashtapala Bodhi at Kaplagana too.
Okay. No, to do this, like if you have some issue, you can do it in Brahma Murta time, Even in this here, you can do it in case.
What kind of things you can do to improve the energy in the house? So I always feel like when you go to a temple, you have more energy there, and your productivity or how you can get into some spirituality is more higher. What kind of things you can generally do to have that energy level uplifted?
At home, are you alone or with anybody else?
I'm alone mostly, yeah.
Then it is your energy. you can ordain like me. No, one thing you can, if you like some more tips, maybe another can Gnanaloka Thero. You can, keep good smells. And maybe vegetarian especially also, devas are more the thing with the, it will block the, so vegetarian, this kind of food and all that. And it's a vibration, you know, even vegetarian food, if you have a lot of desires, tasting a lot, you're inclined to five senses, that will invite that level of things around you. So you can always improve. Don't worry too much. Don't be too much about how the external world is. As well, karmically it can come. How much you try, sometimes past lives, what you've done would come up, but then you're clearing it now. But you can improve like that. Like incense and all these things. And chanting, have a chanting going on. This chanting, they have these recordings, the recordings, the chantings you have these boxes, I don't know, in Sri Lanka, they have Pirit Chaitya and all that. You can have.
So how can you reduce the time of sleep? Because if you wake up very early and don't go back to sleep, it might get sleepy during the day. So
No, it comes. So you sleep early. You learn to sleep early and get up early. So then it's okay if but you have to get used to that time clock, like sleep clock. So if you do it several times, one day you're really tired and you don't fall asleep other times, and that time you fall asleep. So it starts that pattern again. So you can do that. Tell you honestly, I am also having some problem, and after I do it, I will come meet me. So busy now, 3 o'clock, I'm also in Sri Lanka. Now only I'm getting really proper. Really today, I'm really refreshed. Because anyway, I didn't come to refresh, I must do this work. I don't mind being... any question? Any more question? Food also you have to be careful, then you can control your sleep properly with the food. They are related.
Somebody just has a question.
And they really happy actually returned to the States. Last time he was here, and many actually brothers, sisters, and that's how we actually met you. We even have invited you to UBF to talk there. So really glad to see you here again. And I think that's all the good karma that we have to see you again. So my question is that but then you mentioned about the Indians, yogi, the Swami Papa, that talk about anatta samadhi. So you go back and actually you read sutta, then you practice, then you go back 80%. And then,
that's what they according to them.
right. So
it was
so
not only
it's still
them.
not enough.
It is very funny. It's not only him. That same time, it was like Deva, universe, was trying to communicate a message to me. Because at the same time, I was getting similar. Not only one, I have some other meetings also. They were giving the same message.
Right. Oh, I
You
see.
understand? I hope
Yes,
I
yes,
give
I
you a
got
full
it.
picture. So
Okay.
I feel some protective, some energies going. I don't know. This is my some idea that. So just I don't want to reveal this kind of thing, but definitely, you will not be alone. You will be, the universe will be guiding you. I think, I don't want you to blindly believe all these things too much.
Okay.
Yeah. But I want to stress the importance of the suttas by that.
Right, that's
the main
what
thing,
I
yeah.
meant. But later on, what I understand, what I understand, you go back to, you mentioned about, so the 4 elements, so the hardness, the characteristic about hardness, wind, water, and fire.
Yeah.
So that's how you practice 4 elements, samadhi or meditation, so it gains you to 120%? So you totally replicate.
No. I was just
anatta.
I was not doing that much even. Just
Right.
read
So
fast.
how did you actually? Can you explain more and share more about your process?
Yeah, no. That time when they told me this, I went straight to one of the jungle areas I went before,
Right.
and read fast, not contemplate enough even. Just read those Kanda. That's why in the retreat I'm mixing that effect. That people that they are going to bound to, they will never have read so much of Buddha's teaching now in the retreat. So then that will happen. There's something I know that will happen in their system. So this is not, but that is not leading to enlightenment also properly. But if you have time, you can try to do it contemplating, take a point and, that's the real way. So that also can be done. But because it's 5 days, I make sure that they don't do too much that and they just cover this so that when they leave, even anybody, because that was created for general to whoever comes, one day, that they will benefit from that. That they will go with a high dosage of, so this, but the real way is actually more, that also I tell, so they can do it time to time, just take it, visualize it, and then in your walking meditation especially, there's a way you have to practice, that's where you can get those sparks of, oh, this is it, wow experiences. You understand? Yeah. Wait, we will just do a little bit of this reading, this one part, okay? So we can then maybe time to finish after that. We'll have some more. Do you have it?
Sure.
But I can see you all are very, even in New York last time I could see people are really, really, interested, and they're at a level of where they can appreciate this and go on. So I am very glad, all the way coming. There's one even like that, enough for me. And I'm very grateful of I don't have to tell all these people who are behind all this. Wait, okay, just give you. I have only one book, no?
There's more there on table.
We can share.
So I see this as, I'm very glad because this is my new mission. The books coming to your hand. Actually, this is the book that made my teacher into a Buddhist from a yogi in the intern camp in the Second World War time. So even now when we are reading a little bit, we will get a lot of good karma, that's just right now. So I quickly do because we have not much time. So page number 5. Page number 5. Thus has it been said by the Buddha, the Enlightened One, it is through not understanding, not realizing 4 things that I, disciples as well as you, had to wander so long through this round of rebirths. And what are these 4 things? They are the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of origin of suffering, the noble truth of extinction of suffering, the noble truth of the path that leads to the extinction of suffering. As long as the absolutely true knowledge and insight as regard these 4 noble truths was not quite clear in me, so long was I not sure that I had won that supreme enlightenment, which is unsurpassed in all the world, with its heavenly beings, evil spirits, and gods among all the hosts of ascetics, priests, and heavenly beings and men. But as soon as the absolute true knowledge and insight as regards these 4 noble truths had become perfectly clear in me, there arose in me the assurance that I had won that supreme, unsurpassed enlightenment. And I discovered that profound truth so difficult to perceive, difficult to understand, tranquilizing, sublime, which is not to be gained by mere reasoning, and is visible only to the wise. The world, however, is given to pleasure, delighted with pleasure, and enchanted with pleasure. Now this is very important. I'm just coming to this point. The world, however, is given to pleasure, delighted with pleasure, enchanted with pleasure. Truly such beings will hardly understand the law of conditionality, the dependent origination of everything. Incomprehensible to them will also be the end of all formations. So now it's very important in this small word, this statement, the sensual world will be a blocking for us to have a personal experience of this teaching. It's a profound thing. We call profoundness today in a wrong way. They mistake profoundness and wisdom to being clever, to being intelligent. It's not. So this is a very important point. That's why we have to develop, discipline. If we want to make this liberate ourselves, make it a personal experience. Now, actually, like slowly starting, even this very book you got, we will do the four elements also. There you can apply next time someone comes shouting at you. You can start doing like that. That's how it starts. And then you are on the path. You don't have to wait for so long until you're really free or you're not busy. Who knows? You might be able to apply it. And here, dependent origination of everything. Incomprehensible to them will also be the end of all formations, forsaking of every substratum of rebirth, the fading away of craving, detachment, extinction, nibbana. Yet there are beings whose eyes are only a little covered with dust. They will understand the truth. Page number 10. This is last we will be doing. It's a meditation. When you read these books, you must sit, stay, relax. You must comfortably sit, not in a position where you will fall asleep, but you must comfortably, where you don't thinking about the body, the pain or ache or anywhere. Then that's how you should be reading these books, because you are trying to visualize and open up your wisdom mind. It's a wisdom mind. So for that, you will notice you're reading and trying to focus. This part of your brain will start to, you feel something. And when you're really reading, if you're relaxed enough, how do you know you are relaxed enough? Without being reminded, you'll be noticing your natural inhalation and exhalation. In breathing and out breathing, you naturally notice. Not that now you try to notice how it's happening. No. If you're really relaxed, and also must watch yourself seated and holding the book. This is how you read these things. And you must read these things with the idea of letting go. Someone with a lot of greed and attachment, this is meaningless. And this visualizing and contemplating these things will make you let go more. So when you are reading and applying, you'll find you feel energized or peaceful. That feeling will increase more. Because your baggage, your thoughts, your body, you're letting go while you're reading. So it's not like a study reading thing. It's an object of meditation. What now is the solid element? 10th page. The solid element may be one's own or it may be external. And what is one's own solid element? Whatever is one's own karma, one's own person or body, there exists of karmically acquired hardness. That's very interesting how the Buddha is explaining. These body parts or body things don't come just from the sky or something. They come karmically. That's very interesting. Sometimes you have some body ailment, all medicine is being done, treatment, still it's not being cured. Like back pain sometimes. Sometimes you have hurt an animal or something in the previous lives, broken this thing, that will come to you. So if we have that ability to see what is the cause of that pain, so the body comes in that form, to give give that type of consciousness and feeling as pain or as pressure. So body is karmically rising. If you don't have karma, in the mother's womb, there's nothing. No 5-element thing can be formed. It won't manifest from thin air. From thin air, it manifests because the karma is the force behind it. Karmically acquired hardness, firmness, such as the hairs of the head, hairs of body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bone, marrow, kidneys, heart. This you should visualize. It's not like you're noting this heart immediately with blood and all that. You must visualize. Bone is white and so on. heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, stomach, bowels, mesentery, excrement, and so on. This is called one's own solid element. Now, whether it be one's own solid element or whether it be the external solid element, they are both merely the solid element. This is where the wisdom part happens. It's very subtle, when you look at it in terms of like that, the true nature, it is simply solid nature. Like if you have, for example, urine, for example, fluid nature. Whether it's in your body, you might feel it's my urine. But when it goes to the toilet and then mix with the water, so the external solid element, they are both merely the solid element. And one should understand according to reality and true wisdom, this does not belong to me. This am I not. This is not myself. You have to slowly awaken that awareness or observation thing. It's not at once coming. So you have to calm down. More you are calm and peacefulness in mind, you can do this easily. But now with the fluid element, it goes on, the fluid element also. So if you have the water in the tap and the blood that is running in your body, you can mentally see, is there any difference? With the idea of letting go, there's no difference. And also you can think the other way. Another thing, do you think the ear gets angry? What do you think? Where does anger happens? Your consciousness. So the tongue taste anything? So let's mentally see the real thing, separating the consciousness. It's also very helpful. Just this is one small way of looking at things also. So this, so the last one, the 11th, page 11. Just as one calls a hut the circumscribed space that comes to be by means of wood, rushes, reed and clay, even so we call body the circumscribed space that comes to be by means of bones and sinews, flesh and skin. So mentally, these are all mental good meditation objects. And the other one in 13, page number 13, we already had. Now though once I, page number 13, dependent origination of consciousness. Now though once I be intact, yet if the external forms do not fall within the field of vision, and no corresponding conjunction of I and forms takes place, in that case there occurs no formation of the corresponding aspect of consciousness. Although once I be intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision, yet if no corresponding conjunction takes place, in that case too there occurs no formation of corresponding aspect of consciousness. If however one's I is intact and the external forms fall within the field of vision, and the corresponding conjunction takes place, in that case there arises the corresponding aspect of consciousness. Hence I say, the rising of consciousness dependent upon conditions, and is without these conditions no consciousness arises, and upon whatever conditions the rising of consciousness is dependent, after these it is called consciousness whose arising depends on the I and forms is called I consciousness. Consciousness whose arising depends on the ear and sounds is called ear consciousness. Just take it like this. That's very important. Buddha directly telling. Otherwise people try to explain so many ways, and this won't do. Okay, I think we can just you gave me 2 hours, that's enough, thank you. So, any last questions? Okay, yes.
I'm very happy to see that you have gone a long ways in your spiritual path. In all your awakening times, you've been following that path. But what about when you are sleeping? Do you have dreams? And are your dreams like that of a layman's dreams, or are they related to your spiritual path?
Sometimes That's worse than your dreams. Tell you honestly, yes, sometimes, but it's better. I don't think I'm having too many now. You don't know me entirely, only by this, maybe sometimes wrong introductions of anyway, but anyway, yeah, I find I can sleep when I want to sleep, that I find these days, because now the time is this thing, but when I decide to sleep, I could sleep. But I do have, I do get, but sometimes I wish I have sometimes dreams of my gurus or somebody, and this sometimes it happens, and I'm very happy. But now the dreams are getting better and better. I'm getting old also, so less of all these other distractions. But yeah. Yes. Those days I had very interesting dreams actually, with my teacher, when I was with him. That was a solid period of Dhamma. Even the impermanence I sometimes getting in the entry. Yeah, it was when reading those Skanda and the original teaching. That's a very. I don't think I ever got such a time after that. As a young boy, when I was with him, Upasaka in Pulgastu Island Hermitage. This was one of the best times, I think, in that Dhamma. Yeah, this what you are subconscious work, Of course, sensual aspect in the past, it was I had to struggle with a lot before becoming a monk as well as after a monk. So it took some time. But I think now with my age and all that, I feel it's nice, good time to practice more. This will overcome. It's very important, I think, putting the wisdom into your system. Otherwise, even at old age or whatever age, still the same thing. The body is old, but this thing is coming. So we have to keep on, cleaning going on, then it will definitely. I tell sometimes if you keep on practicing, you will have a lot of problems, obstacles. But if you continue practicing, I have many experiences with my life regarding this, so much problems, but continue practicing. Then Mara also will get tired sometimes. Mara's effect will come, but if you're a continuous practitioner, this is the secret. One thing that makes us stuck, the main way Mara comes is our ego. We feel, I have a problem, someone did a problem to me. So if you can feel it, you can leave a problem and start continuing very fast, immediately, things become very easier. Not making it a problem, not thinking it's a problem. It's just some happen. So this is very important, I think. Yes, and I didn't expect such a question. Anyway, normally I like to tell the truth about what's going on. Any other last?
How can we prepare everything in our life with the death?
I told you the daily practice, and I tell you, very interesting. I think one Malaysian Chinese in Australia, I had to face some things in the last months a lot, one after. I do a lot in the public as well as in my other life also, like my father passed away and so on. So I was there when many years I was out. They couldn't find me, or I had to meet them time to time. But towards the latter period when even my brother was out and nobody was looking after them, I was with them. Actually, I was there at the right time and giving them support. So one of them asked me, how did you say your goodbyes to your father? Okay. If I really think of it, my first goodbye was when I ordained. It's really like that. This whole sasana, the Buddha's process is, actually I see it's like killing you before death comes. Okay? So I could remember yesterday, actually I was in the monastery who cut my hair, the Bante, he's the one who cut my hair at 4:30 in the morning, who came to cut my hair. And I could feel like I was being taken to gallows, The gallows, to be hanged. The reason is, you're going to be cut away from the sensual world. And still, I was not completely desireless to be. So I had that feeling, and you should get that feeling. So in that ordination process also, you have that dying thing. And then the other one was when you attain samadhi, you die continuously if you attain samadhi. So you don't have to ordain, you can do it as a layperson. As I told you early morning, if you can completely not just sit down physically, wait until you don't think about your office, working place, and your family and all these things. Okay? Just not until you master that awareness. Sometimes some of those work might get, that you can't do it because you're doing this. But you will never regret that. Or find a work that you can do this. Try to think in your life, how I'm going to be liberated. So then, if you get that state, like you try to get it some way, not immediately tomorrow, but at least try to get it. So when you're doing that, you're already dying. Then when you get this wisdom of reading and then seeing things, you don't see immediately when you see your mother or your father or your children I don't have experience, but other people, if you see them begin to replace, not that you're running away to jungle, you slowly begin to create that perception in your room or in your bedside, slowly. And in the office, whenever you get time, and apply it to others, things that you're experiencing. And so that you'll find it should be to a point where you are not reacting also with expectations from people or, reaction negatively with people. You can now, itself you can see whether it's working for you. Then that is the way to prepare for death. Your karma will be less and you will already feel confident to face it. And many asked me this question. Yesterday also I got this question, I think. It's a Sri Lankan question. Was it you? Regarding what you attained or something? Not that? You did? Okay. Okay, yeah. She the one who asked me. I can never forget the people who asked me this question because it's the second person. I have not a good memory sometimes, but this I had. So anyway, this question, what I have attained, so maybe they're expecting, I don't think they're expecting, but I have told, my teacher has told, if we get some insights or some clarity, even don't tell to ourselves whether we have attained this or that. So continue the path, continue the practice. Maybe we have attained, that's okay. That's okay, but we don't know, we are no Buddha to really give the confirmation. But practicing is common to everybody. Keep on practicing. So if I stop, I'll forget everything. Maybe I have. What did I tell? What I was to explain to you?
Saying goodbye to your dad.
Yeah.
And then
Yes, wait. Okay. Yes, these people ask me this question about, what I have attained. So what I see is in this practice, very important thing is that, especially about going to jungle, all these things, what I would have attained. One thing I can tell you honestly, or doing all these things, if I face death, I don't think I can do anything better to face death. So doing all these things, I think is the main thing that prepared me. So in your case, I would not say if you can do daily, that letting go and that enjoying that being in the moment, you're already dead, dying. And your desires are dying, reducing. So less desires, then easy to die. No desires, no problem, no death. You don't identify with what dies. So that this is a daily you can do. That's what we are preparing. That's the main goal. To have fearlessness. Fear comes from desires, and desire comes from ignorance. So the real thing is getting this wisdom will remove the desire from the root, and then you will be at peace. It's not, don't think too much. We are now also born and dying. So to be a perfect person in this present moment, that death will be looked after. Okay? You had a question? Quickly, maybe.
No, I think there is a question. No.
No, the last one.
Okay. I was just asking, like, in this busy world, like, what is the most important thing to meditate on? Like, if we just
Compassion
have, like,
meditation, good.
Yeah. Like,
Compassion meditation. Visualizing compassion, it will be creating good energy and merits. And Buddha's qualities, where tears will come. Buddha or any other spiritual inspiring, I will say something, to keep you always high on the practice with faith. And these things, and take a book with you where you're going and try to read, even in the toilet or anywhere, doesn't matter, just use the time. So, any other, no? Then we will, I think it's time now, all right? So I wish you all good luck and strength. Swami said, does any Bhante wants to? One thing I want to tell after this thing, actually, try to be silent tonight. Take some food, take this energy, all right? Just take this energy with you, so that it will help you on your path very fast for you to do more things. So try to keep this energy. Tomorrow morning you can talk. At least tonight just be with the yogis or practitioners who's lived in silence, the main prerequisite for enlightenment. So I wish you all strength, good luck, and success on your path. May the Devatas give all protection, and the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, that blessings come to all of you to go on this path without any obstacle in this life itself. May the Devatas and all other beings who like to protect this noble practice and path out of compassion to human beings, and may these merits you have accumulated to your parents, your relations, and all living beings from the lowest to the highest get a share and encouragement to go on this path, especially beings who are human beings in this country and all other countries. May they get a touch of those greatest compassionate masters, so that human beings are capable of liberation, that they get an opportunity, and other living creatures too, they get a touch of that blessings to get a higher consciousness out of all suffering to higher space. All human beings with the support of the infinite compassion of the Master. Minutes. Keep your eyes closed. 5 minutes. Relax your body.